Right, hi! Welcome to Behind the Paddle. This is part 2 of... What would we call this one? Anal
Preparation pegging?
prepping?
No, it sounds like preparation H.
No, I thought of Preparation Armageddon.
Yeah, no, it does sound like that as well. We'll come up with a name after.
Yeah.
Like, preparing to peg.
Preparing to peg.
Yeah. An idiot's guides run by
Just-
2 idiots.
Just PEG. Peg.
Yeah.
Part 2.
Yeah. So, I'm Emily Sin.
And I'm Porcelain Victoria. And welcome to Behind the Paddle.
Cool. On to the lovely next topic, which is hemorrhoids and anal fissures.
Okay, well, that's a lot harder in the way of pegging somebody.
Yeah, like you're probably best waiting until they heal.
Yeah, like get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Remove them, sort that out, because you're not going to be able to peg for long.
Yeah.
And it's going to hurt every time you go in and out.
Yeah.
So, no.
Yeah.
I would absolutely get seen to.
Aye, go to the doctors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this comes with another point which we're gonna add to later, which is like being embarrassed of pegging and like being embarrassed of like sadly your body.
Yeah.
But you do, if you do wanna 100% have fun,
Yeah.
definitely go to the doctors
Yeah.
and like see to that, because it's not gonna be a pleasant time.
No.
It really isn't.
It's just going to exacerbate things.
yeah,
and,
no matter how
yeah.
much lube you have down there,
Yeah.
it'll still hurt.
Look, there's a wound there. That's...
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So your advice is just don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. You can try, mate. I know there will be people,
You've had clients and stuff that have came with... Yeah.
many clients that I've had. And like, I don't know if it's down to like not having knowledge of it, because I'm on the back end. I will tell you, like, you need to go see the doctor and get it checked out, because
Yeah.
I have done that with clients where it's like, okay.
Oh, have you done that thing? Sorry, this is like way off topic, but see how some tattoo artists are like trained in recognising when people's like moles and like things on their body are like potentially like cancerous?
Like, there's, I'm not really a sniffer dog in that sense, but
I just mean like...
if it looks a bit dodgy,
You're going to say. You're
Yeah.
going to say totally.
because like I couldn't, what was it? It was like I couldn't find somebody's prostate,
Mhm.
or like it was like too big,
Yeah.
and I was like, please go get that checked out.
Yeah.
So like I have
Free? Well, not free, but...
free. You need help. Go to an actual doctor.
Yeah.
You're with your psychiatrist right now,
Yeah.
but go see a different type of doctor. So like I have said to people, like, you need to like go see help for whatever reason, because yeah, I'm sure there was other instances as well where like a guy's penis just didn't look right or something.
Yeah.
Like I remember a guy's one of my clients quite a while ago, his penis was like bent,
Yeah.
completely bent,
Mhm.
and he was like, oh, it just got like that one day.
Oh,
And I
was it
like-
broken?
So it wasn't broken. It was because when he was younger, he had boners constantly. He was pressing it down.
Yeah.
So like the
So the wind changed and it stayed like that.
basically, yeah. It was like not the blood vessels, but the blood or something. Just
Had just like
yeah,
grown that way, basically.
Basically,
yeah.
because it had been pressed down so many times.
Yeah.
And it just stayed that way.
That's quite common though, is it not? Like
Sometimes,
and
yeah.
was it like how extreme the angle was? Which was
very, like,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
have sex with it or anything like
Oh
that.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Like proper like L-shaped. Like
Like, let me see if I can remember a guy's penis. Like, yeah, just like that.
oh, like up the way?
Yeah, up the way.
Ah, right, okay. I thought you meant to like one side, because like I found that's like quite common. Do you know what I mean? Like, they always like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They either sway or like they look like a banana or they're straight, basically. But like, no, he went and got private surgery, paid like 10 grand to
Oh,
get a
shit.
normal penis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he couldn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
He could like, he could wank to an extent, but
Yeah.
he couldn't have sex.
Was it so rigid, like in the way, basically? Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. You gotta make sure you treat your penis as well.
Yeah.
And fine. Like if you pop a boner
But how
when you're
many
younger,
people do that though? Do you know what I mean? That seems like a normal thing that people would do.
what, press down their boners?
Like into their stomach.
Yeah.
Hi, like loads of people do that every day. Like
he just constantly did it as a kid, and this is just how it turned out, really.
But I thought that was just like what everyone did, no?
There is a term for it. I can't remember.
Right, okay.
I did look up and do a bunch of research at the time, but this was a few years ago.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's crazy.
So he's done it to an excessive amount, basically.
Yeah. Shame.
I did not know that could happen.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bent penises.
Yep.
Oh, I also tell men about like their foreskin and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I do get clients who see me and like they haven't pulled down their foreskin.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah. Like they're full lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're full lives. And he, like one of my, I've had a few times where the guy's just like, oh, it doesn't go down. And I'm like, I can make it go down.
Yeah.
That's fine. Just tell me. There'll be a bit of blood, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. Just rip the band-aid off.
Literally, yeah.
Oh my god. Like 30 years of fucking bagged up smegma sticking it shut.
Again, this is going to be a good another episode when we make an episode just about smegma and stuff. But no, yeah, I am to some extent like a doctor to my lovely patients, where it's like, please go get checked out.
Yeah.
It's like when I had a client faint on me multiple times in 2 sessions, and I was like, mate, take this seriously. Like, I'm not electrocuting you. I'm not like doing any impact or like having you on your feet. You need to go see somebody. Yeah. And turns out he had like a heart condition. So yeah.
Guys, just avoid going to the doctors. Like the absolute, like one of my friend's dads had a cough for 4 years and just never went to the doctors, and like everybody begged him to go, and he finally gave in after 4 years, and it turned out he had cancer in all of his organs, and they could have caught it early because it started off as lung cancer, and that was where the cough came from. And after he got told this, he died 2 weeks later.
Fucking hell.
And that freaks me out. And I'm like, go to the fucking doctor.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it.
No, it's not worth, like, being embarrassed or ashamed or anything like that. It's like, it's the stupid fucking phrase of, like, quote unquote, man up. It's like, no, just be a fucking human. Yeah. And an adult and just go.
Sorry.
Just fucking go. Just fucking go. Just go to the fucking doctors. That's all you fucking need to do. Oh, it feels so nice to talk like that. Yeah.
You need to let it out, man. You can't bottle it up all the time.
It's like I'm speaking my language.
I was going to burst into song there.
What song?
Like the song about the Marmite sandwich. It's no Marmite. What is it?
What?
Oh, I can't remember. It's fine.
Somebody tell us.
Vegemite sandwich.
What? I have no idea what this is.
What is that song?
I don't know. Sing it for us.
I'm not singing. Nah. He's like, dee-dee-dee, dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. That one. I will look it up after. It's fine. Cool. Speaking of men and manning up, leads us on to the next part of the pegging preparation, which is the kind of psychological, like emotional preparation. Because there's so much hang-ups with this, it's insane.
It is. But like, we discussed this afterwards as well, because I don't know if anybody knows, but I'm single now. But like, we discussed after one of the episodes that like on the opposite end, my previous partner wouldn't even do anal on me. Yeah. Because he was like, ugh, and like, yeah. So like, it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. It's like, but it's the man. The majority of the time, it's the dude. No offense.
I wouldn't say that with like lassies, because there's a whole thing about like, oh, if you do anal, you're dirty.
Oh fuck.
There's a whole other hang up in there when it's the other way around as well. Do you know? Like, there is just generally hang ups about anal. Yeah. But as always, on the female side of it, you're a slut. On the male side of it, you're gay.
Well, I was more on about how men don't really want to do it, but lassies are like, okay.
With what, sorry?
With, like, doing anal. Like,
I don't think that's the case,
No?
though. Nah. Like, it is with some people,
Mhm.
but a lot of people are like, oh, that's dirty, I would never do that.
Oh,
Like, that's
interesting.
quite a common, at least in public. You never know what goes on behind closed doors, but
Very true.
there is a lot of stigma with that
Oh.
with females as well. I think it's getting less at a quicker rate than it is with like males, I would
See,
say.
I think this is, again, me working in the sex industry.
Totally.
And where, like, I've had people who have, like, women who are just like, yeah, let's do anal and things like that.
I have met people that don't even masturbate as women.
Oh, no.
Like, I feel like you have quite like a tunnel vision view sometimes, just because like the people that you know.
No, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas like,
I don't like people. I stay in my bubble.
yeah, that's totally fair. I wish I could say the same. But yeah, just like through like meeting people and stuff over the years, like I don't know. Like I've still know people who have never came, like at all.
Oh no.
Like there's still quite like a repressed. Like, I'm not saying this is the case for everybody, and obviously it'll depend where you go and who you speak to and whatever. But at least from my experiences and the people I've heard about me growing up and stuff, that's been the case, that it's still had a lot of stigma attached. It's still been like dirty and wrong and taboo and like something you don't do unless you are like a slag or whatever, and it's still got like quite
Wow. Well, I mean, going back to like a little bit of a step to the side.
Yeah.
My childhood, like my mum walked in at one point when I was masturbating and she was just like, oh, this is disgusting. This is horrific.
Yeah. I had all that as well. Like,
I mean, and then she found out what I did for work. That was a lovely phone call because, like, I accidentally called her from like my work one. Yeah, no, and like she looked at the WhatsApp.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hello, this is Victoria. Are you ready to get your hole pummeled? Oh, hi, Mum. Yes, I did move away to Scotland.
I'm so gutted I did not hear that phone call. That sounds hilarious. Like horrible for you, but like, yeah.
Like I meant to call her, but it just went out on my work one. And then as soon as I realised, I fucking buttoned it.
Yeah.
But she just looked it up on WhatsApp and then she found my link through WhatsApp. And she was like, oh, my daughter.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is why I moved so far away.
Yeah.
But no, with how I grew up, my mum just no. So, yeah, I can believe there are people like that. Even though I would hear her having sex and everything.
Aye, that's fine.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But me masturbating growing up when, 12 or something like that. No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Exploring my own body and everything.
Yeah.
No, dirty.
It's because they don't want to deal with it. Do you know, like, I think it's like people are like victims of the system almost, where like it's so taboo and so, like, especially in the UK, because like, I don't know, there's certain European countries where it's like, it's totally normal to be naked in front of your family.
Yeah. France.
Aye, and like,
That's one.
especially the Scandinavian countries and that, like, my mind was boggled. Like, I had went on a course and I remember there was a sauna in our hotel and I like had my bikini and that on, and all the people that were running the course were just chilling in there naked, and it was bizarre because it was like seeing teachers naked, but like that's normal. That's like I was over 18 at this point. It wasn't like I was like at school, but it's just a totally different. And speaking to them, they were like, yeah, our full family go to the sauna together, and it's a mixed sauna, so it's like men in with women and children all naked in the sauna. And
it's all like how you think of it, because I had this conversation with somebody over the weekend where it was just like, if you see like a child in a bikini and you think sexual stuff, that's like you're
putting that on. I don't know, I feel like bikinis have been sexualized.
Oh, absolutely.
In general anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women's clothing has been very sexualized.
Yeah.
Like, I love wearing boxer briefs and stuff because they don't fucking squeeze me in areas and like let me fucking breathe. And like, there's a whole controversy about why do these size 10 fucking trousers fit me, but these size 14s fucking don't?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it makes no sense. A
Yeah.
lot of, especially Abercrombie and Finch, I think it was. Fitch,
I think.
Could
be Finch. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but
where like they're in a whole lot of fucking bother and shit right now. Legally, and just their adverts and everything like that. It's no, it's not good. Not good. And
why?
Teenage models.
Oh, right, okay, yeah,
skinny as fuck.
Yeah, just the usual, basically.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think he was recently in trouble for something. I'm not so sure, but he was in the news for something.
Yeah. So circling back a wee bit, because we've got quite a bit off topic there. Like,
it's still frowned upon.
It's frowned upon across the world. It's harder, I would say, in the UK, just for the fact that our culture is quite prude, just generally, especially compared to like other European countries and stuff, like other first world countries. Like we are very prude and very reserved and very like self-derogatory. Not only just in like ourselves personally, but like our bodies and like the way that we speak about ourselves. Like, and I feel like all this feeds into when there's already hang-ups about this thing already, and then you mix in all the cultural bullshit, it just gets a wee bit like...
Well, yeah, it's like when
tough to deal with.
I first met you guys, and like whenever I first fucking meet somebody or talk about Scotland, because I lived in England for 19 years? Yeah, 19, 20 years, something like that. I'm used to the scene of England and like how it's booming and everything like that. Whereas I came up to fucking Scotland and you guys are poorer than fucking England, and like you've only got like basically one swingers club and like a few kink events, and it's just like, what is there here for me? Like I really do want to move back to England, but I also don't at the same time. But it's just like I know.
Like I get it, but boo.
Like it's even the same around just the laws around sex work as well, and what is happening, which I'm sure we'll make an episode about soon, because they're trying to get the Nordic model here, and they're just continuing just in fucking Scotland. And it's just like, what is Scotland? Scotland is so, like, in the Stone Age with so much.
Yeah.
And it's like, sex work definitely, especially, and the kink culture is better in England. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I agree. Like, we go to England a lot because that is the case. Yeah. Like, we'll speak about this at a later point. Let's get back on track here. Yeah. So, hang-ups to do with pegging, I find for cis guys, the big one is always like, oh, but it'll make you gay. Like, I even heard this recently, like, I watched Big Brother. It is such a redneck, but it's my guilty pleasure. And one of the lasses that was on that a couple of weeks ago when I was watching it, it'll be longer ago now, but it doesn't matter, had said about how pegging was disgusting. Like, it came up in conversation, and her response was like, oh, but that makes you gay, was what she said. And, like, she was a bit older. It wasn't like a younger girl saying this, but she was shocking. Like page 3 and like was a model or had been in her past. So like was quite a sex positive person in the way that she'd led her life. She
portrayed herself as
wouldn't have seen it that way.
Yeah,
but it wasn't this prude reserved, like someone that thought less of like sexuality in that sense, but still had these opinions.
See, this is like gonna, I guess, a bit off track, but like I love it, me being in sex work, because I feel like anybody can do page 3 with any actual, like, all you need is tits. You don't really need to have a good look on life and be like so sex positive. You just get your tits out and get photographed and get paid for it. That's all I see with just page 3.
I would agree. Like, I find it strange when people judge things that are in a similar wheelhouse-ish to... do you know what I mean? That's my only point there. It's not...
My point is just, like, even if you, like, class yourself as a sex worker or you are a sex worker, you can still have judgments about other people.
Totally. And that's the case everywhere. Like, people are hypocritical all the time, but I just thought it was worth mentioning that to me that is hypocritical when you are living your life in quite, like, a sexually free way. or a way in which you're not letting like society's hang-ups about certain things to do with sex hold you back from the way you want to live your life, but then are like continuing on these narratives that are like harmful and are outdated, really.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
because sadly there are sex workers as well out there who look down on other people who do certain acts, like, because like I do sexual stuff. Well, it's being a dominatrix is being sexual in any fucking way, as we have discussed on, which one was it, the hierarchy of sex work, was it?
Would have been.
So like it's sexual in a way, but like it's sexual in a way, and sadly there are sex workers who think, oh, because I give this service, I'm not this, or I'm not that. Because you will get doms who are like, oh, I'm not a sex worker because I only like do corporal punishment or something. And it's like, fuck off. You are. Like, it is sex work at the end of the day. And sadly, some people in the industry just don't have the nicest views.
Yeah.
But that's everywhere.
Yeah. What would you have to say to someone who maybe came to you as a client and had these kind of hang-ups and was worried about like him wanting this thing, meaning that he was gay? Like how would that...
If like they were gay, they had no interest in me, but they just wanted to fucking up the ass? No.
So a client has came to you, they've been like, I'm really interested in pegging, but like people say that makes you gay. Like, I don't think I'm gay. Like what? How would you like handle that conversation?
So straight off the bat, I'd be like, fuck him.
Yeah.
It shouldn't matter to you what people think. I understand, like, we've all got demons and we all have little voices in our head. Yeah. But ignore them. Yeah. If people want to tease you about it or anything like that, they're not your friends. Yeah. Then no.
You have took this so literally. It's great. Like, so like, I'm more meaning like if that was something that they were worried about themselves. So like they think that because they want to be pegged, that makes them gay, and they came to you with that. Like, how would you like?
I really took that literally.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'd say don't worry. It doesn't make you gay. It just makes you want to explore your own body. Yeah. It makes you curious about it. It makes it much more fun in the way that you actually have a much more open mind than some other people, where you do want to explore and realize where you can get pleasure from. Yeah, so I would just tell them to hop on my cock. Yeah, basically. Yeah, just like, you want to explore it, you're curious, let's do it. Yeah.
My big thing is like, there is literally like a point up there that like can make people come. Like, there's a pleasure centre in that area, and like, this is what always annoys me, because like, obviously it's in the Bible that that's wrong, and I think this is like where some of the hang-ups come from. But like, if it's God that's created us, why has he created that there?
I mean, mate, God kills children and everything in the Bible.
But like,
so
just following along that like argument, do you know? Like, I don't like, why design us in such a way where that's even a possibility? Yeah, and not only a possibility, but is so pleasurable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, touch that prostate, mate. Yeah, touch it.
If you don't like, if like prostates getting used like that is healthy.
Absolutely.
Like, because it can
de-stresses you and everything.
It de-stresses you, it reduces your risk of cancer and stuff like that. Like, there's actually like health benefits to it as well.
See that,
go
boys?
Beyond, yeah.
You come to me weekly.
Get your weekly prostate check.
Yeah. By Mistress Victoria. Little finger.
So, part of the kind of hang-ups as well, I think, like, or at least the kind of the continuing stigma around this subject comes from, or part of it, I believe, comes from the act itself being illegal for so many years. Like, I've just had to be looked just now. I didn't realise how long it had been illegal. 1533 was when this first came into law as the Buggery Act of 1533, sorry. And in the beginning, and I wonder if this is where the female side of things comes in, it was any anal penetration was illegal, regardless of sex or gender. And it was that, like...
Laws were better in that way with gender,
yeah, that they were just... yeah, they weren't stigmatising anybody. In fact, it was such, like, this law trumped... so basically, if a monk or a priest murdered somebody, there was a law that... or, like, a part of a law that protected them from being executed, but not if they committed buggery. Buggery meant that they would die. It was that, like... I don't know how to, like, word this. Do you know what I mean? It was, like, even above
the
murder in terms of where, like, the lines were for, like, important members. It was seen as that bad.
Jeez.
It was changed a couple of times all through the years, but didn't actually get repealed until it was 1967 was when it was no longer illegal. But previous to that was when police were, like, actually going in and raiding people's houses, and if they were seen to be, like, committing gay acts or, like, buggery as it was termed, then they would be arrested and could actually go to jail.
Wow. That's horrible.
Like, I believe there wasn't, at that point, it was, like, gendered. Like, I don't believe it was the same for females. Like, it was just men that would be, like, committed for that. But as with everything, anytime anything's been illegal, there's always this weird, like, cultural hang-up about it for ages until that kind of passes, because for a time, people were terrified of being accused of this, because then they could go to jail. And that terror just, like, it softens and it shapes and it changes, but it stays rooted through generations until it eventually kind of, people forget why they feel that way about a thing. But that's why, because it was all over the news that people's houses were getting raided and people were worried that that could happen to them or someone could accuse them, or it does just create this kind of fear of a thing.
So, like, taking away fake penises, dildos and stuff, I'm wondering if added to this, like HIV, AIDS,
totally,
that scared people into not doing it as well? Potentially.
I mean, like, I feel like because the two have kind of been linked together almost, that's where, like, like the kind of the hang-ups people have about being gay have kind of linked on to the hang-ups people
like
have about pegging.
And all that stuff, it's dirty and such a taboo. And I guess with religious families as well, it's just not even fucking thought about. Just procreate, that's all.
Well, this is it's sex without procreation, but so is oral, and that's never been made illegal. So
oh god,
you know, it's not like, and like, as you've explained, if it's about a dirty, like, bacteria thing, like, there's guys that have never pulled their foreskin down.
Right?
Like, my ass is cleaner than that.
Yeah, it's like, shut up, mate. Like, no. The amount of times that I have had to tell people to, like, go wash themselves and, like, they've came back and, like, they've been more fucking smelly somehow. And it's just like...
They've disturbed it.
Disturbed the mould in their armpit. Like, again, the amount of times where, like, guys, like, their foreskin hasn't went down, and, like, it's just like, do you know things about your own body?
But I think all this stems from this weird, like,
they need to be taught
prudeness people have, that they don't want to teach their kids how to wash themselves properly, because it's just not even a topic they want to discuss or think about, or you know, like, so many people haven't been taught how to wash themselves properly.
I don't even think I was taught.
No, like, I wasn't either. No. Like, I've learned, like, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's taken me having to go and do that myself. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I remember when my dad sat me down and told me about drugs. That was it.
Mine sat me down and gave me drugs.
I mean, I wasn't going to incriminate anybody there. Where my dad was just like, if you want to take them, I'll be there with you. Which is really fucking sensible and everything. But I don't remember talking about, like, periods or anything like that. Like,
the drug chat's always the easy fucking chat. Like, or
It's
the easier
ridiculous.
chat.
Like, when my dad found out what my job was, he was like, oh, there's like there's handcuffs in your mum's wardrobe and stuff. Like, that was easy for him to like
wrap his head around kind of thing.
Yeah.
Aye.
Like, he didn't want to know that like his daughter like had sex with people or anything like that. He would rather think about like the whipping and things. But like, he would
it's
still
always
rather
the
not talk about
like the
it.
dom side's easier for people to swallow. Like, it just
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah.
Aye. Which is hilarious because, like, in any other situation, it would be the opposite way around.
What do you mean?
Like, people have a lot more comfort with sex than they do, like, BDSM in general.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out with this one example,
Absolutely.
which I don't understand personally,
No.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. I think sadly there'll always be somebody who puts shame into pegging.
Yeah.
No matter what. I mean, this is so the opposite.
Yeah.
But I get clients who are like, call me the F word.
Yeah. I like people get a
the
kick
slur.
out of it. Like, they want that to feel like that. Like, I've always struggled with that a wee bit personally, because I feel like the vast majority of porn that you see that involves that act, that's the vibe. It's humiliating. It's like, it's you. There's like, it's homophobic a bit with your side of what you're discussing. I find it really sexist sometimes because they are like, you're being penetrated, that makes you like a woman. And that's the vibe.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's like women getting to be the man, and it's all like role reversal and shit. And I'm like, I mean, it can be. Does it need to just be that?
Yeah.
Can it not just be like two people like enjoying every part of their body?
Yeah, no, because this is the hang up with me was the feminization part as well. With
that's
when
what I'm
men
talking about.
wanted to be called sluts and things, and
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so many years, but this year it's made me think, why do I want to dress up a man? Me personally, why do I want to dress up a man and then call him all these horrible words that women have been called?
It feels like being part of the problem in a way. Like, I totally agree.
I'm still trying to figure out a way of how to look at it in a good light.
Yeah.
Because it's the same way with when guys are like, call me a faggot, basically.
Yeah.
When they want to be like penetrated and stuff. And it's like, there are people out there who will want this, and I think it'll always be wanted.
Aye. I think it's one of the things where, like, I don't want to judge the things individually, but like overall in like a big group, if it's like fetishizing like the problem.
Yeah.
And for some people, like, say they've been bullied all their life and that's a term that they've been called, for that person that could be them working through that and them being in a safe place in a way that like they're like a lot of kink can be like working through past trauma.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's not to say that everybody doing that is wrong. It's not to say that, like, even if that's not the case, it's wrong. It's just...
Not everybody's different in their ways of wanting it and how.
Like, I struggle sometimes with... It could be just total ignorance on my part, but, like, a lot of the feminization stuff, to me, feels... It's fine when it's not also for humiliation.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, it's humiliating to be female. And that hits wrong for me. Like, I feel like that's what a lot of people come into pegging thinking it's all about, and that maybe puts them off. Like, it maybe would be that they do just want to explore and they want to like have like a pee orgasm and see what it's like because they're curious, and that's like totally valid. Like, it doesn't need to come with all these other things that are just, for me, like perpetrating this stereotype and kind of driving this stigma home, where people are like, oh, but does this make me gay? And then they're gone and they're watching porn to explore, and it's like people getting called the F word and people getting like dressed up as a female and like it being this really derogatory like
especially
punishment thing.
A CNC scene as well. Yeah. And
like, it can be nice, it can be lovely, it can be close, it can be like
I've had clients who suspect that they're trans, and so we've tried it and we've done certain things, and like they've
that
either
feels
liked
different though. Do you know, like
there's a lot of different situations that it can be in.
It's just the humiliation bit that I don't like.
Whereas like a recent client which I had, he listens to the podcast and he was just like, are you comfortable calling me a slut? And I'm like, in this situation, yes, because you're not dressing up as a woman or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're just wanting to be an anal slut. Like,
And that's
I'm
different.
Kind of okay
yeah,
with
that's
that.
fine. I think using the words when they're used in the context of humiliation on their own, like, I don't take issue with. Like,
Yeah.
they're fun. They're hard-hitting words. They give you a thrill. That's the point in them.
Yeah.
But if someone's wanting to, like, dress up as a slut, that's when it's... And
I'd
their
be like, why are
version
you
of
dressing
that
up as a woman?
is them dressing up as a woman. That's when it starts, like, creeping into, like, a wee bit misogynistic territory.
Yeah.
Because you can 1,000,000% be a slut and be, like, a cis guy. Like,
I mean, you can dress up as a furry and be a slut.
Like, slut is a feeling. It's not... It's not a look. And that's where it starts, like...
Exactly. So, like, this year, I've had to, like, think and break down all the situations which I've had and went, was I truly comfortable with that? And, like, why has it changed? And with certain situations. Because, again, it's like with anal, like, it comes with... Why do you think this way? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. Even doing anal, always being in the submissive role while receiving anal bugs me. Because does that mean women are always in the submissive role?
Right.
Like, just because you are being penetrated does not make you lesser. It's not humiliating. It does not need to make you submissive. You can very much be in control and be penetrated at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, the two are not mutually exclusive and shouldn't be. And I feel like maybe even people that are dominant, like, full time, might be curious about that and not feel like that's something they can explore, because they would then be seen as being submissive to their partner.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. And I feel like,
So to round this off, because we went on a lovely little round, to round this off, I had a client recently, and
we still have another point after this, by the way.
So I had a client recently, and he was an older gentleman, and it was different.
Yeah.
I don't, like, again, like, I ended up putting, like, an Instagram video. I don't think you saw it because you're just horrendously busy.
Yeah.
But I ended up putting a post out about, like, how I don't really want to see older men, but it's case by case basis. It's not like... It's sad. There sadly is a stereotype where older men are just much more prejudiced and much more dicks.
Yeah.
Because this man literally walked in and went, "Oh yeah, I've seen other prostitutes before."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh." And I had my balls on, and I was like, I don't really like that word. For me, myself, prostitute is the same as, like, calling somebody a faggot, even if it is in a good way, because it just has previous connotations of something ill and not so good. Like, that's where the word prostitute, like, came from. It was an insult, basically.
And that's your personal preference and your boundary, and you're entitled to that.
Yeah. So he was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah.
But he did it in the old man way of, like, "Oh, sorry, I won't mention that, blah, blah, blah."
I, like, hurt, like, as if you've inconvenienced him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that well.
Yeah. And he came in just for pegging.
Yeah.
And he then continued to say, once I was pegging him, he was like, "Oh, this was well worth the trip. I'm so happy I came. You're so worth the money."
Yeah.
And I was like, what the... Please don't tell that to me. Like, I know that I am. Like, I'm worth 10 times fucking more and everything. I don't, like... It just felt really wrong, and I felt like a piece of meat.
Yeah.
So then he did loads of things wrong.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to call me a good girl while pegging him.
Yep.
And I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. And then what was the last thing? Oh yeah, he was like, "So you turn all the boys into pussies then?"
Oh.
And I was like, what? And he was like, "Yeah, the submissives, they're pussies, aren't they?" And I was like, oh, you pissed me off so much.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, the men who bow down to me are not pussies at all.
Yeah.
They are people who like realize that women are powerful and they respect us and everything that comes with that. They are no way, shape or form pussies.
Yeah.
And that really, really pissed me off, because that was the thinking of somebody and the stereotype of if you bow down to women, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
You're a simp. You're all that stuff. And that fucking boils my blood, as you can hear. Because you are making yourself look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Because you're saying you're basically the exact fucking opposite.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you clearly don't fucking worship women. You don't care about them. You don't clearly, from the way he was speaking, because at some point he mentioned something about a cow, and I don't know. Like, I think he mentioned about how he thinks dominant women are cows, and how I really surprised him because of how I was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Is he someone who does just want to see, like, an escort, not a dominatrix, but not many of them do pegging?
Most likely,
That's how that sounds. Do you know what I mean?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes in and he takes the utter piss because he needs to feel
needs to feel bigger.
in charge and bigger. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because like he tried to touch my tits as well, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
No. And then further on, he tried to touch them, and I was like, no. Like, no, this is not happening.
Yeah.
So, to all the submissive people in general, especially men, you're not pussies or weak or anything like that. You just like what you fucking like.
Yeah. You've got the fucking balls to actually go out and do what you want to do.
Yeah. And
like, that
if
takes
that's being
guts.
pegged, or if that's kissing a woman's feet, or paying for a woman's meal with like a husband, fucking do it.
Yeah.
You live your life. You do what makes you happy.
Totally.
Oh. Some men.
Cool. So the last thing is negotiation.
Yeah.
Because we all love open and clear, direct communication.
Yes, absolutely.
That's how everybody has fun.
Yeah. So with me, I would say I go by the traffic light system. So green, you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Amber, not so much. And red, you do not like it. Red does not mean stop. If you want to stop, then you say stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah, green, you're enjoying it. Amber, not so much. Amber, to me, means that I'll carry on for a second or two, so it doesn't feel like it's
dead
too
stop.
broken up.
There can be a transition period.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then red just means, okay, we will stop. Do you want a little break or something like that? So, yeah, I would say do something around that where there is just clear communication.
Yeah.
Because your partner or whoever you're playing with, it could be yourself, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Like, they could have, like, a hangnail or something, and you could bloody feel it.
Yeah.
And, or
there needs to be something that, like, allows you to communicate in the moment.
Yeah, there needs to be really, really good communication.
Yeah.
You need to be comfortable with each other to be like, stop.
Yeah.
This hurts, or let's get in a different position.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing I don't think we talked about is positions.
Yeah. We'll speak about that when we're talking about actually doing it, though.
Oh, yeah,
this is the prep. This is just the prep.
Can you tell we have ADHD?
And fucking autism. We've spoken about this for like an hour and a half so far.
we have our special subjects.
Yeah. Who knew pegging was one of them, but I'm not complaining.
I know, right? But no, communication definitely is the key.
Yeah.
I know that in my previous relationships, or whatever I've got up to, there needs to be fucking communication.
Yeah. I think as well, like, from what we've just spoke about, obviously there's like the act itself, but there's like the headspace that surrounds it. And like, because for some people they are facing something that like could be like a real hang up for them, they're going to be vulnerable, they're going to be like in a place where things are maybe going to affect them a wee bit more or a wee bit differently than normal. And I think that's why, like, having the negotiation beforehand and being really clear about how you want it to feel, but how you want to feel, is really important.
Yeah.
Because there's so many approaches to this. Like there is with everything, you know, like, we are inventive as creatures.
We really
especially when you bring, like, BDSM into the mix, because there's just so many different scenarios and so many different, like, headspaces that you can be in that go along with your scene. And pegging's no different, where even some of the few that we spoke about there was like someone being dominant, someone being submissive, but even within those roles, there's a million different facets to that.
Yeah, like
And
when you're pegging somebody, you don't need to have roles. It doesn't need to
oh,
like
totally,
include
it can just
BDSM
be
as well.
yeah,
It can just be like sensual between you and a partner where you just don't even know what BDSM is or anything like
totally,
that. Like,
totally.
yeah, it doesn't need to involve that as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can just
But
do
even
it.
within that, like, do you want it to be sensual? Do you want it to be rough? Like, do you want, there's still like negotiation within that I think every single sexual encounter should have prior to it happening.
Absolutely.
So that people are putting their needs across and getting their needs met.
Yeah.
Because that's important for like fucking everything. So.
Absolutely. So like with like actually doing it, make sure you might want gloves, you might not want gloves.
Yeah.
Make sure you do the prep of like an
warming
enema
up
or a
and
douche
yeah.
and warming up. So what we've already talked about in the first like segment, yeah. And really, really have a fucking good debrief.
Yeah.
Pre-brief.
Yeah.
With whoever you're gonna do it with.
Yeah.
Like, do not set yourself to have high goals.
Yep.
The finger might not even go in or anything like that.
Like it's going to take a while to build up to pegging if you're starting from square one.
Absolutely.
Because you might even get it in the first time, but like it's going to hurt. Because you're not going to be that relaxed unless you've done it before. It's a new thing and so much it is relaxing and
but even
it's
then,
hard
sometimes
to do that.
the ass just doesn't want to open. It just doesn't want to work.
Yeah.
Or if you have, is it Crohn's?
Probably.
Because I did have a client recently who had that. And like, anal slot. Loves it.
Yeah.
But that day, his belly just was not feeling up to it. And I think it might be the same with like IBS and stuff like that.
Crohn's is like IBS plus.
Yeah. So like, it all depends on so many factors, and do not get embarrassed or ashamed just because your ass doesn't want to open up for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about.
Yeah.
Things just happen.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's absolutely normal. It's absolutely fine. You can just try it another day.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no rush. Take your time.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. And especially if like you're on a one night stand or if you want to try something new with your partner who you've had for a while now, be honest with them.
Yeah.
Be very, very honest. And especially if your partner doesn't want to do anal, then you could seek it elsewhere, absolutely. But like I would say make them aware and like talk with them
or
about
try
that.
it yourself and see if you enjoy it.
Exactly.
Like
it's
you can self-explore as well. Like
absolutely.
It doesn't need to just be with a partner.
Like giving yourself a hand job and then somebody else giving you the hand job is different in the ways of like the feeling and stuff.
Oh, totally.
So it might be different when somebody else does it for you because you can get the angles and things.
Totally.
So I'd definitely say explore and be honest and be truthful.
Yeah.
And like if you need more lube down there, get more lube down there. Don't be afraid to not have like only a little bit of lube or something like that. Like I know that every step you take, whether it's by yourself or with somebody else, it can be like nerve-wracking and more nervous. But just go for it.
Yeah.
Like you've just got to get all those voices out your head and just be like, this is my me time.
Yeah.
This is either with me or with my partner. We're going to try this or we're going to carry it on. If you enjoy it, go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like sometimes, again, we'll talk about this more actually doing it, but like it can feel like a ring of fire when you first do it, and it's absolutely normal and it's fine. It's the asshole trying to relax and being like, whoa, why is something going in there rather than coming out? But we'll talk about that in episode 2. This episode has mainly been about really just like
the steps that you're taking to lead up to actually doing it.
Yeah, and like be confident about it. Like there's no need to be nervous. Like sadly there are people and partners who are like, ooh, I don't want to do that and things. But that's when you talk about the next steps, really, I want to say. At least with me, it would be like, I want to actually try this, so either I'm going to do it myself or go to somebody who can help me.
Yeah.
Because especially if it is kink, like you're always going to be kinky.
Yeah.
The majority of the time, even if it's one time a year,
Yeah.
you'll still want to do something. Like I had a client who was like, oh, I want to go on a date, but I really like anal fisting. And I was like, right, if you can live the rest of your life without anal fisting, go for it. Go on the dates.
Yeah.
Don't tell the women or anything like that. And he was like, okay, I think I need to live with anal fisting. I really, really enjoy it. And I was like, right, cool. I would suggest being honest with the person who you want to be with and such.
Like if that's a need, treat it as such.
Exactly. And if they don't want to anal fist you, then again, you can just seek out other people who you're comfortable with. But it all depends on communication. It really does, and trust in each other and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for listening to part 2, guys. As always, we've got a little discount code for you guys. If you use Behind the Paddle at checkout, you'll get a 10% discount code on thesanctuaryofsin.com. We've also got Uncensored Market coming up next month on the 15th of December. So if you want to check that out. We've still got some tickets left for just the general market and the workshops. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So go check out our Dark Fans. Dark Fans is an absolute must. You need to see how sexy our lovely bodies are in this lingerie. And yeah, if you want to support us, you can tip us, you can look at all our links and listen to every other podcast episode we have produced. So yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.